speaking of college football, as the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, prime time, Deion Sanders says, "Give me my theme music." On this week's edition of Carving Up the Context, we're going to be talking about a guy you've probably never heard of because I've never said him on the show. His name is Matthew Sluka. He, was the quarterback of the of UNLV in the Mountain West Conference. So, big story in college football is today. So, UNLV, just to set the stage, 3-0 on the season. Okay, Sluka was having a pretty solid year. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, so, great touchdown-interception ratio. Pass rating through the roof of 136. So Matt was playing really, really good football. And UNLV, by the way, in the latest coaches poll, AP coaches poll, was ranked 23rd. So in the top 25. A team that was kind of on the come up, having one of their best starts of the season that they've had in some time. My man Ryan Flowers, who lives in Vegas and has UNLV season tickets, could tell you that right there. But he decided to quit the program today because of the fact that there was an issue revolving around an NIL deal. And an article here by ESPN says that he left over an unfulfilled $100K offer from the school who promised him this NIL money. So this has been not this story individually, but the whole story of NIL. This has been something that I've talked about. I've been doing Carving It Up Live since October of 2019. I started talking about this very subject in November of that year. This is something that I am personally very passionate about. I think a lot of folks, maybe in my generation and even beyond that, are as well, is the fact that college athletes should get paid. Full stop. So I just want to set the stage. So Matthew Sluka is a quarterback. Let's just throw out an example. So let's say Justin Fields is going to be a free agent next year. He's quarterback for my Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's say he has a good season. Let's cross fingers the Steelers keep doing what we're doing offensively in terms of the improvement. Let's say Justin Fields is a free agent. Steelers didn't pick up a 5th-year option, and the Steelers or somebody else signs Justin Fields and promises him a contract and doesn't pay him. Folks, not only is that the biggest story in sports, it is the biggest story, one of the biggest stories in America. It probably leads the New York Times. It's on ESPN. It's on all the cable news networks. I mean, Justin Fields probably being brought in for primetime interviews on national news shows. It is a gigantic controversy. Well, Bryson, that's a professional athlete. It's a contract. Folks, college athletes might as well be professional athletes, and frankly, they kind of are. And they should be because they bring in millions upon millions. Listen, UNLV's no Alabama or Texas. We know that. But UNLV's still a Division I program in Las Vegas. Like, listen, they get the requisite amount of attention for where they're at in the landscape of college football. And you would think the quarterback who's leading them into the latest coaches poll, being in the top 25, playing really, really good football, would not get, keeping it real on the show, lied to by UNLV. So what this story shows to me, the context of it, is that we're very young in NIL. It's only been around about 3 years legally. Is that the stigma of name, image, and likeness, for reasons I cannot quite explain, or I guess I can the more I think about it, the stigma still remains. Take it back to 2021, summer of 2021. When in a country where, let's just say I'll be diplomatic and say we're split on many issues, the Supreme Court is a good representation of that. They agree on virtually nothing. They agree 9-0. 6 conservatives, 3 liberal justices agreed across the board unanimously. 9-0. Name, image, and likeness should be legal in college sports. The most conservative member of our current Supreme Court, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, said that the previous business model of college football would be illegal everywhere else. The Supreme Court is unanimous on this. Folks, again, I don't have to tell you, that never happens. And so it goes back to, I mean, I can remember politicians have talked about it. Joe Manchin has talked about it. Mitch McConnell has talked about it. People from the right, from the left, in between, in the middle, doesn't matter, seem to be very worked up about this. And I'm seeing takes today, and I cannot, my mind can't possibly wrap around this. The idea that, oh, he quit, screwed his teammates over. I mean, that guy, not a team for. He was playing excellent football, and they were 3-0. It would be one thing. Still, I would be on the side of the player, but it'd be one thing if UNLV was 0-7, out of bowl contention, and then just middle of the season, I'm out. I'm transferring, or I'm leaving the school. Which, by the way, NCAA rules prohibit players from playing for two different schools in the same season. So Matt Sluka's 2024 season is done. It is over. This also goes to me to a conversation that I've talked about as NIL has become a thing, is that just like any other form of a business in America, there does need to be some level of regulations. We're in a spot where UNLV is doing what they did with Matt Sluka, where that is illegal. Well, we're in a spot. By the way, I'm not so certain that it isn't illegal, that Matt Sluka isn't going to lawyer up, as they say, and take this as far as he can take it and get what he can get. Which, by the way, more power to him. God bless him. I hope he gets what he can. There's a lot of reasons why some folks are against NIL. Some of it really are, to a certain degree, as deep as, is it going to be a wild, wild west type of situation, as I talked about with the lack of regulations, which, again, I say there does need to be. There's folks that do feel that way, and I respect that, because as a guy who's fully in favor of NIL, I not only get that argument, I agree with a lot of it. But it goes back to certainly the NCAA, first and foremost, is the idea, amateur athletes, they're recruited. They come to the school, a full ride to this college, this institution, and get their education, and they're in the most physical and brutal sport that there is in this country, football, putting their bodies on the line every single play, while simultaneously making millions of dollars for their institution. To go to what Justice Kavanaugh said, that would be illegal in every other business. It doesn't happen. And it goes to, again, as I said earlier, the stigma surrounding it. When a Brian Kelly leaves Notre Dame for LSU, he gets criticized. When Lincoln Riley leaves Oklahoma for USC, he gets criticized. Certainly locally, he gets ripped to shreds, but nationally, it happens. But if a player in the middle of the night just dares to skip a meaningless bowl game, you got a certain sector of the media and fans that rip him to shreds. I remember Christian McCaffrey did it. Folks crushed Christian McCaffrey. Oh, he's a bad teammate. He's not there for his squad. How could he possibly? Oh, I don't know. He wants to not blow out his knee and cost himself millions of dollars, which, by the way, because NIL was illegal, he couldn't do. A lot of athletes have that story. Jalen Smith. Remember Jalen Smith? He played at Notre Dame. Played in the Fiesta Bowl against The Ohio State University. Was a consensus top 5 pick in the upcoming NFL draft, blows out his knee, is a second-round pick, and never reaches his potential. We have stories like that in college football. Is the idea that you are supposed, and listen, it's the beauty and the curse of college football. The beauty of college football is the fact that there is the pleasantry. There is the tradition, the bands, the rivalries, the energy in these stadiums. Again, I'm a Vols fan. When I tell you Neyland Stadium is, it's like a spiritual experience on Saturday afternoons and evenings. When that place gets rocking, man, forget about it. It's unbelievable. And the Pride of the Southland Band playing Rocky Top, 100,000+ singing in unison. It's beautiful. The tailgates, college game day, college football's awesome for all those reasons. But so many folks get blinded by the pleasantry, the logos, the schools, the history, all of this, and put that ahead of the actual athletes on the field. The fact that there are folks that do have the take, this kid quit on his team. What incentive does he have to quit on his team? The 3-0, he's playing really good football, and they're probably about to be in the top 25 with a chance, mind you, to maybe get in the college football playoff as that 12 seed. The idea that, he didn't care. He cared more about the money. No, he cared about not being lied to. He cared about being a part of an organization, of a program that has some level of honesty and decency. And so, listen, hats off to Matt Sluka. I wish him nothing but the best moving forward. Feel bad for the other guys at UNLV. Listen, there's another Ryan Flowers again, Las Vegas UNLV season ticket holder, host of Clutch Sports Talk with the Grid. Check his show out on Sunday mornings. He texted me right before I went on the show and said that another player quit. Now, I don't know the details of that. I don't know if it's related to NIL. I don't know if he's doing that in protest to support his quarterback. I don't know what that situation is. What I do know is that locker room for the rest of the season is fractured. It is torn to shreds because evidently the higher-ups, be it the part of the UNLV program, we'll get more information as time goes on, and Pete Thamel on ESPN is, doing a great job, covering this, but it goes to how we do need regulations in NIL, but also, to me, the bigger story is the stigma that still surrounds the fact that it is still controversial in 2024, the year of our Lord, for college athletes who bring in millions of dollars for these athletic programs, for the facilities, all of these different things, make a lot of rich men and women richer, can't benefit, or the folks think they shouldn't benefit from their own name, image, and likeness. Go on social media. Now, listen, I get Twitter can be a cesspool for a lot of garbage, but that take exists out there. There's a sector of fans and media that are against this kid. And I think it is wrong. It is I would go so far as to say almost immoral. Frankly, it's anti-capitalist if we're going to be real about it. If we're going to go that route. Listen, God bless this kid, Matt Sluka. Kid better lawyer up, I'll tell you that. Or shouldn't say better. He's in the he's in the catbird seat to a certain degree. Listen, get your lawyers and get ready to roll. Because this story is only going to get bigger as time goes on. This kid got screwed over in a major way from a dishonest program, evidently so with UNLV. If this were a pro athlete, we'd go crazy. But Bryson, it's not a pro athlete. It really kind of is. This whole amateur athletes, that's nonsense. That's BS. That's absolute BS. This isn't high school sports. So shout out to this kid. Wish him the best moving forward. That is it for this week's edition of Carving Up the Context. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.